Welcome. Today's video is a discussion and a demonstration of the MD codes, focusing on the foundation mid-face codes. The MD codes are a series of practical injection strategies designed by Dr. Mauricio de Mayo. These treatment codes are designed to help injectors achieve natural, harmonious results for patients. They aid communication and treatment planning, and they also aid communication between doctors. The codes are based on the premise that each aesthetic unit in the face, for example the cheek or the chin or the lips, can be divided into subunits, which are the codes. The MD codes can be customized for each individual patient. The letter indicates the aesthetic unit being treated, and the number indicates the subunit or treatment code. We generally start with number 1 and we progress through the numbers. Number 3 is usually an alert zone indicating a blood vessel or a nerve, and particular caution has to be employed. The shape of the symbol will indicate what technique is being used, whether it's fanning or bolus or microaliquot. There'll be an indication of the direction, there'll be gender differences, and this will give us a treatment plan that we can use to progress our treatment and get the best natural result for our patient. Today we're going to be focusing on the foundation or mid-face codes. Our patient is 42 years of age and has had no previous dermal filler treatment. She's got a very attractive face. She does have some inevitable sequential changes that are happening over time. So she's got some photoaging of her skin and some loss of skin elasticity. She's particularly got some volume loss in her fat pads, and these follow a predictable sequence over time. They deflate, they move inferiorly, and particularly the nasolabial fat pads become heavier inferiorly. She's lost some definition in her deep malar fat pad and also in her SOOF. She's additionally got some heaviness of her nasolabial folds, and she's got some facial asymmetry, which we'll help correct with her filler treatment today. We're not going to do contouring in the temples. This is something I might do at a later stage, but we're really going to focus on the CK codes. We'll be doing the tear trough codes, and we'll also be improving her nasolabial folds. I've marked my patient's lid-cheek junction, and I've also marked the zygomatic bone. I've felt for the suture between the zygomatic and temporal bones, and this will be the first point of my CK1, and I've marked about 5 millimeters either side of that. I'll be lifting as I inject. I've done a full cleanse of my patient's face, and I'll also be using alcohol wipes. I want to keep the risk of infection to an absolute minimum. So I'm going to be lifting, and I'll be injecting first in CK1. I'll aspirate on bone, and I'll deposit 0.1, just a small aliquot on the bone, second little pinch, and I'll aspirate, and a second 0.1, and then I'll be doing a third 0.1. CK1 has several benefits. It improves the lid-cheek junction, it'll improve the lateral brow, and it'll improve the temporal area. It gives some improvement in the nasolabial fold, and it can improve the oral commissure as well. So CK1 is really that central foundation of the mid-face, and it's a very useful point that we use in men as well as women to get lift and also to improve the contours of the face. I'm using Voluma for the CK1 codes. I'm also going to do a small bolus of 0.2 cc's in CK2, particularly here on the right side because our patient is asymmetrical and I want to get a little more lift on the right hand side. I'm going to again be supraperiosteal, and I'm going to aspirate and be very cautious with this. In some patients with a very well projected CK2 you may not need to use some Voluma here, but for my patient I will be doing it. Now I've marked CK4. This is the lower border of the zygomatic bone and the anterior border of the masseter, and I've drawn a rectangle. I'm going to use some Volift on a cannula here, 0.5 cc's, in a fanning method, and I'm going to be above the parotid, so I'll be subcut but relatively superficial. I want this to give some lift and contour and slimming of the face. I'm going to use Volift. I'm happy with the results already. We've improved that look of sadness and tiredness. We've indirectly improved the tear trough. We've helped lift her oral commissure, which was a little more downturned on the right. We've expanded the SMAS and given her some nice volume and some contour and lift. and now I'm going to do the tear trough using Volbella. I'm going to be going quite deep with this, about 2 millimeters away from the orbital margin. I'll be protecting the eye with my non-dominant hand because safety is critical. I'll be depositing really very, very tiny droplets or micro-aliquots. I'll be doing it deep to avoid Tyndall effect, and I'll be doing it in micro droplets so that we don't get a sausage effect, for example, like a linear thread. So we'll go very gently. I'm using the same entry point, which is lateral to the mid-pupillary line, and we'll go nice and easily. I'm now going to give some subdermal support to the nasolabial fold, and my preference is to use a cannula here. If the canine fossa is very retruded, I could go in and go deep on bone with a 90-degree angle, but today for my young patient who's 42, I'm going to use a cannula. For my patient today, I'm going to use 0.2 cc's in NL1. I'm going to use 0.2 in NL2 and just 0.1 in NL3, and that'll give some support to the area. So we've achieved a very nice natural result for our patient. We've taken away some of the negative aging signs and we've restored some of the youthful positive signs, and she's very happy with the result.